hit record. So we have no issues. Yay! Alright. So tonight we are going to, first off, I want to apologize that I wasn't able to come in last week, having issues with internet again, and switched providers. So we have it up and running and we're here tonight. We are going to create this marvelous 6x12 mixed media canvas, and everything on here we are using our Prima products and a few art mediums. But I wanted to show you how you could take Prima's products, and also Prima is more than just flowers. So I wanted to show you how you can use all of those other great embellishments and tools that Prima provides to create off-the-page projects like this one, where you can hang it in your house or give it as a gift and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started. And first off, what you're going to need is you're going to need a, oh, I hate this paint, of course. What you're going to need is the 6x12 canvas or piece of wood. It doesn't matter. This one's a thick canvas. It's a gallery wrapped, like 2-inch canvas. It's all up to what you have on hand, honestly. This is a really fun project to do if you have just blank canvases lying around, or something that you're not sure what you want to use it for, but you're collecting, kind of like I do, and you need to kind of thin out the herd. This is a fun, fast project to do, especially if you have like a birthday party or a wedding. Oh, this would be a really nice wedding gift to give. So let's go ahead and get started. First, what we're going to do, I'm going to go through the supplies real quick, is a few of the Donna Downey foam stamps. This is the Poppies and Peonies, and this is a Poppy. We're going to use these two on there. And we are going to use, I have the stamps, I can give you the item numbers of these. This is from the Lifetime collection. This is from the Lisa Gibbons Wishful Thinking. And then this is one of the Paintables. I'll give you the item numbers as I go. This is an older stamp, but one of my all-time favorites to use, because you could use it on so many different things. I love the doily look on it, so I use it a lot. As you can tell, I am bad at cleaning it too, so, but that is one of my favorites. And we're going to be using some of the writer's tape. Also some of the Sunrise Sunset vintage trinkets. We're going to be using some of these. And some paints. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, my paper. Where did my sheet of paper go? Oh, here it is right here. We're going to be using this page. It's from the Welcome to Paris collection. It's Swag Flowers. The number on that is 844882. And we're going to use this. That's the back of it. And we're going to use it on the background of our canvas. That way we give ourselves a nice flat surface to work off of. So let's put this aside. Okay, to start, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to cut this 12x6, 6x12, whatever that nonsense is. And first start off with cutting the strip, of course. I'm going to do 6 inches by 12 inches. Save this other half, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a few of these flowers to add on top of our canvas. Now this looks really dull compared to this, but I wanted to give a nice background that had a nice contrasting flower on the back. So when we put it onto our background, they slightly and subtly pop out from behind the paint in our layers. So I thought this one was a really nice one, because the yellow and the white flowers really do kind of peek out here and there on the background. So you're going to need some gel medium. I suggest gel medium. You could also use Mod Podge to adhere this onto the background. That way your paper doesn't bubble or warp. Pull my little tag off. Where is my gel medium? Buy it by the gallon, basically. See? I use Golden. You can use any manufacturer. A heavy matte. I suggest heavy gel matte medium. It's not as fluid as some of the other ones. You don't have warping as bad as you do with the thinner gel mediums. So that's kind of just a suggestion. Grab a card. I'm going to use a card. You can use a palette knife to put this on. I just want a nice even surface. Make sure you get around the edges. Oop. I added an extra light, hoping that I get rid of this dulling contrast when I use white under this camera, and it doesn't help any. And it's one of the best cameras you can get for this, and I don't know why it doesn't, but we'll have to do, right? Right. Alright. So now that I got a decent coat on, I'm going to kind of even it out with a paintbrush, just to make sure that all of my corners are covered. Okay. I know it seems kind of thick, but better than it popping up on you later. So I'm going to just take a wet, kind of damp paintbrush. Oh! I was using black gesso on my last project, can you tell? Doesn't matter, because we're not going to see it, but for the further future steps, I may have to go clean my water real quick. I think I have a water bottle. I have water in here, so we're good. Always check first. Darn it. I'll also show you guys tonight a couple other examples on how you can use your stamps and your screens on projects, off the page projects. I've had a couple I've been working on that this kind of spurred those. It was kind of a nice idea to kind of break away from the norm, because Prima does so many other things than just flowers, and we all love their flowers. So I wanted to just share with you a couple ways on how to utilize your other Prima goodies, because all of their stuff is a really nice quality product, and they shouldn't be forgotten about. So I'm just going to push this. I'm going to have to turn this over, kind of press inside there. Make sure you get nice surface, kind of like that. Like so. Now your paper might be a little bit larger than your canvas, and this is where the Prima distressing tool comes in handy. And what you're going to do is you're going to go around the edge where the paper kind of hangs off a little bit. And you're just going to take the rough edge of our distressing tool, and you're just going to take that right along the edge of the paper. And what this will do is take that extra lip off without having to cut it and all that stuff. And it's not going to affect your canvas much, roughing it up like this. So don't be afraid to get it along those edges. I'm also going to add another layer of gesso on top in just a second to kind of seal the paper. This will just make your edges flush against the canvas. Okay. Yeah, it's this scrappy petty. Handy for all things from pedicure to distressing a card. Alright, so we have our paper, or our piece of paper down. I'm going to add a little more gesso, like I said. This this makes it so that the front and the back are both moist with the same medium. And you may have a couple bubbles. I didn't push this down very good. That's my fault, not the mediums. You want to make sure you got a nice, if you are working on a flat surface and are doing this, say like a piece of wood, take your brayer tool, one of these, take your brayer tool and rub it across so that that paper, all the grains of paper get into that gel medium. But we're good this way. Okay. All right. Kind of take it around the edges a little bit just to seal that paper down. Looky, looky. All right, now I'm going to take my heat tool, kind of speed this up. Am I pixelated, you guys? Oh man, it must be my internet. Okay. Well, I am really sorry for that, you guys. We don't have to get this all the way. It's set all the way up, Carrie. It's on high. I have it set on high. I just upped it all the way, the quality all the way up, so. Alright, so we have most of it dry now. It doesn't have to be completely dry. We're going to take some art mediums over the top. So this is good. Now that I know that we're pixelated, I'm a little upset. Alright, so let's get a clean brush. Since I now know that I have black paint all in my stuff. Okay. I'm going to take some of this basic Liquitex paint. And I am going to, this is in bright aqua green. I got this at Michael's. It's their basics acrylic paint. I'm just going to squirt some straight onto our canvas. Don't need a whole lot because I am kind of just brushing it broken here and there. I don't want to cover, like I said, I don't want to cover the entire piece. But what I'm going to do is make a decent cover of paint, and then I'm going to go back over with a paper towel or regular towel and kind of buff some of this paint off, because I do want some of those flowers to peek through our paint. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to wipe that kind of off a little bit. So we can see some of those flowers. I know you're saying, why waste all that paint? But it gives it a nice, cool detail. So you can see those flowers pop out a little bit. Okay, good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of gesso. Just some spots. I'm going to dry this a little bit because I don't want the two colors blending. Okay. Open my gesso. Okay, we're not using this. We're going to use the Studio Gesso by Claudine Helmuth through, it's from Ranger Ink. This is a lot easier to open. So we're just going to take some of this. Let me make sure my brush is clean. Wipe it off here. I used paper towels a lot, and then I figured I was going through like a Costco size pack like every month. So I went to old dish towels, and once it's covered in so much paint, I can't even it could walk away on its own. I throw it in the washing machine. So we're just gonna take a little bit of gesso, not a whole lot. I don't want it really stark. I just want to kind of blend the two in, not blend, but I want the soft contrast between the two. So again, I'm going to brush some on just here and there and kind of rub it in a little bit, kind of give it a weathered look. Marlene. This kind of softens that teal up a little bit. Just a little bit more. Okay. I think that's good. We just want to break it up a little bit. Alright, so that's our background. Now we can actually play and start layering. So let's put this away. Now, a great part, another great little tool that I like using on my mixed media is the chalk inks. And we're going to be using a few of those tonight. One being white, one of my favorites. We're also going to be using Rusty Keys. And later on, we're going to be using the Olivine, yep. And there was one more. Okay, for now, those three. So first we're going to do, so we're going to take our Rusty Keys, and I'm going to use the large doily stamp that I showed you earlier. This one right here. And the item number on that one is, this one is 541835. It's a paintable cleared stamp, doily stamp. Okay, so we're just going to take our little Rusty Keys, take it right onto the back of the stamp, and you notice I'm not using a block. The reason for that is my surface isn't exactly flat. You have some give because of the canvas, so this way I can press down better using it without a block to get into all of those different levels and contours of the paper. Okay. So we're just going to add a couple of these into the background. Add layer upon layer. Gives it a little more, what am I trying to say? It draws the eye more. It gives people more to look at instead of just one layer of paint or flowers or whatnot. It keeps them interested. Okay, so I just set these off to the side a little bit. You can see those. I'm going to do one, you know what, I'm just going to leave the two. I know you're supposed to do them in odds, but we have so much going on this canvas, you don't really have to stick to that with creating the background because a lot of it will be covered anyways. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Lifetime. This one's from the Lifetime collection, and that number is 563028, and that is part of their cling stamp collection, and we're gonna add a few of these. Oh, wrong color. Wrong color. Wipe that off. We want white, not orange. We're just gonna add the white onto the stamp. I really like this white chalk ink. Works amazing. We're gonna add a few of them here. And again, I'm not using the block. That way I can get in there and push it down really well. Add a couple more here and there. And later on we might be covering these, so it's not a big deal if they're not perfect impressions. Okay, I should have dried the background a little more. What it's doing is I'm pressing so hard it's picking up my ink or my paint, but that's okay. Gives it kind of a cool technique though. I'm going to see if I can show you guys what it did down here. The paint on the background was still wet, and actually it was the gel medium that was still wet. Let's see if I can get it to focus. See how it kind of made it three-dimensional? It picked up my paint and my gel medium. Kind of cool. Happy accidents right there, people. Alright, so we added those. And we're going to add this little guy. This one's from the Wishful Thinking collection. They're one of their little stamp sets. And the number on this one is 970512. I have a really bad habit. I pull apart my stamp sets and very rarely keep them together. So that was this one right here. Okay. So again, we're going to use the white. And we're just going to add a couple here and there, everywhere. Okay. The chalking goes really nicely against the paint. One down here. Alright. Let that dry just a tad bit, and while we're waiting for this to dry, we're going to go ahead and cut out a few of our little flowers from our paper. Let me grab my knife. My Comfort Craft tool, my craft knife. Okay. And look at how fast we're getting through this. See what I mean? This could be a really quick and easy project for a birthday party or whatnot. So I'm just going to go through. You don't have to get really exact with these. Oh! I may need to change my knife, my blade, you guys. You don't have to be exact when cutting around these, because what we're going to do is we're going to outline them with a paint pen anyways. So that'll disguise your rough cut. Plus I need a new cut mat because I have so much paint and medium on here. Makes it kind of hard to cut. Okay, there's one. Let's get this one down here, this big one. And notice I'm turning the paper instead of trying to curve around the flower with my hand. It's easier to maneuver when you just move the paper. There's another. And let's get one of these little guys. Okay. All right. So we have some of our little flowers. You can cut out more or not use it at all. Of course, your preference. So now that this had a little time to dry, it's still kind of damp, but we're good. I'm going to now add our foam stamps. Actually, let's go ahead and glue these down first. Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to use regular glue for these because they're not very big surface. I'm using a fabric tack. This glue works really well against other art surfaces, art mediums. So I know I don't have to worry about anything pulling up while I'm doing that. I'm going to put one right here. And I might cut another one of these, but I can always do it later. Let's go down here with that one. All right, and I'm going to cut this one off. You sometimes want pieces to go to fade off the edge of your project. If it's all contained in the canvas, it sometimes makes it look kind of off. So you want to make it so that, like, my stamps are coming off the canvas, this little flower cut piece is coming off the canvas. We'll do the same with our metal embellishments. It fills the entire space, so your composition is complete, looks more complete when you do that than if you keep everything contained within your piece. Same with your scrapbook pages. You could do the same exact thing with some of your elements. Okay, now we are going to go to the stamps. And first I'm going to start with my larger ones. As you can tell, I'm kind of bad at keep cleaning my stamps off, so if we get a little pink going, yeah, just excuse it. So I'm going to grab, I have no packaging. Let's see. I'm cheap and I like to use packaging. Here, let's cut a piece off of this. I like using packaging as paint palettes. That way I'm not wasting paint, or I'm not wasting money on palettes, paint palettes. Okay. And the yellow paint I'm using is cadmium yellow, medium hue. And that's, again, the basic. It looks very bright on camera. It's not quite that bright. It's like a sunshine yellow. So you're just going to brush the paint right onto our stamp. You don't want it too heavy because it could kind of get into the little grooves and make a mess when you stamp your image. But you do want a good coverage. You want good coverage. That way when you're stamping, you get a nice solid image. Now the good part about these, because they are so big, if you don't get an exact image stamped down, you can go back in and use your paintbrush and add, which we're probably going to do. Because this is on a block, we can't really press down the center very well. See how my entire center, I missed that. So I'm going to kind of line that back up. And I'm way off. And press in the middle underneath my canvas. Okay, we should be good there. Okay, I'm going to go in now that I have my outline put down. I'm going to go in and add some paint. I need a smaller brush. Kind of color inside the lines here. You want a nice even surface so that when we go in and make our little detail lines, there's a big enough contrast. So just go in and kind of paint that in a little bit. Oh, I know what I did differently. Okay, before the next one, I missed a step, you guys. I'm really sorry. Before you do this, mix your paint with your gesso, all right? And I'll show you on the next flower. Mix your paint with your gesso, and it'll give it a little more depth, and it'll make it a little more opaque, and I'll show you the difference. So you don't want to do just basic paint like I just did. All right, so we have our paint, and what you're going to do now is with the edge of your paintbrush or a pencil, you're going to come in and you're going to draw in little lines to remove the paint. And it gives it kind of, oh, it's so bright. I'll show you on this one. You take your paintbrush and you pull away some of that paint. Let's bring it up here. See, you pull away some of that paint so your background pops through. And it makes it look like it actually has veins in the flower. Alright, so let's do this one. I'm going to have to fix this one because it is very bright, but that's okay. So you go through, and you want to do this as the paint's wet, or you're not going to be able to remove the paint like I'm doing right now. You go up like so. You kind of want to, you don't want straight lines, you kind of want them at a curve, an angle. Alright. That is a really ugly yellow on camera. Okay, so the next one, I told you I made a mistake. So let's fix the mistake. We have our yellow paint, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white or some gesso to this. Let's use the other one so I could pour it out. If I can get it open. There we go. We're going to blend these two together. Okay. Pull that out and make a nice softer, creamier color. Now we're going to paint this on our stamp. Decent, even coat. Alright. And we're going to kind of stagger this one over here. We can overlap our paper a little bit. And again, I'm going to go underneath to make sure I get an even impression. Okay. And now what I can do is go in and fill in my open spots. You could see the difference with the gesso and not gesso. It does make a difference, you guys. Like so. Okay. And then we're going to go back through with our little paint end. Easy peasy, right? Now, it won't pull off much on this little flower, but that's okay. Okay, so we have our second big one. So you can see the difference between the two. Big difference. All right, now that we're done with this one, I have a suggestion. When you are using stamps, any type of stamp like this, if you have a water, like a water container, like a Tupperware container, you could put on your desk with a little bit of water in the bottom and just toss them into the water. That way you don't have to rush to clean these off. You could actually let them sit there for days. Okay, let's put that one aside. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our big one, this other one, and I'm just going to use one of the flowers off here. I'm going to use this top one. And the nice part about these stamps is you can just paint the portion, the portion, I'm getting the hiccups, the portion that you want to use. So we're just going to paint right on this little flower right here. Okay. Decent coat of paint. My first one's going to go up here towards the top. Again, kind of press underneath. If you're using like a wood surface or a flat plank, it would press down a little better. But at least the stamps give you a nice jumping off point to paint into. Okay, so we have that. Okay, and then we need one more down here. Use the same little flower. Okay. This one can kind of go down here. Let's see. Ooh, make sure you don't let the stamp slide too much. Okay, put that aside. Does anybody have any questions? That one, Carrie, is from another class. I have like a set of them. I don't think I've ever used that one. Most of mine are a mess too. The foam stamps I try to keep clean as much as possible because they are a little, they're more expensive than a regular stamp, of course, so I try to take care of those a little better than I do my others. And one more time, we're going to draw our little veins into our flower. This gives them more of an artist finished look instead of just a stamped image. Okay, looky there. I really don't like this other yellow flower. It's kind of ugly, but not much I can do about it, huh? I can kind of go in and add some of my yellow over the top, but I think it's a lost cause, ladies. All right, now that we have this down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with the heat gun, and then we're going to take our black marker and go ahead and outline these flowers, and then we'll add our other layers. Let's see. Can't remember if this is the pen I used or not. That'll work. Now with the gesso too, using it, combining it with your regular acrylic paints, it will help dry them quicker too. Okay, so I have a Slick Writer. It's American Crafts Slick Writer pen. You could use a Sharpie marker. You could use a paint pen. Whatever you have, just kind of try it out on the art medium. Some pens won't write over art medium. So I'm just going to kind of outline our little flowers. Like this one is probably not going to survive my paint, but we're going to try it. And it's not working. Let me grab another pen. Have about 10 billion of them. The question is, where are they? Here's one. Paint pen. My acrylic paint pen, the tip is kind of worn out. I use it a lot, so my lines won't be quite as fine detailed if I use it. So we're just going to use this one. There we go. Just outline your flowers. And what this will do is help them pop out more onto the page or from your page or canvas. Makes them look complete. And just continue around. And then I'm going to kind of fill in the centerpiece with just little circles just to give it a center. Doesn't have to be exact. Kind of draw a couple little circles inside the flower. We're going to come around this little paper one right here. Like I said earlier, we're going to kind of disguise the outline. This one. The redheaded stepchild flower that didn't turn out well. We're going to kind of just go with it, people. Go around and around. Like I said, really simple. We're going to do our little circles. Doot, doot, doot. Look at how easy that is. And even if your lines, your paint lines aren't exact, with the black marker around the edge, it kind of cleans those lines up. So you don't have to worry about if, like, my stamp shifted on me earlier. This kind of camouflages that. You can hide little flaws, just like a little black dress. Hide them flaws. Okay. All right, there we go. We'll outline this one down here. Okay, next is adding our little flowers in our branches. Now the branches, what I used to paint or draw these in, you can use a Copic marker, or you can use paint, whatever you'd like. To do the red flowers, what I started with was some red paint. This is just flat red paint. I didn't add any gesso to it. And a pencil with an eraser. Doesn't have to be anything exciting. Just like so. Let's draw in our little vines first, or sticks, or stems, whatever you want to call it. And I just kind of, doesn't have to be pretty. You just want something the flowers can go off of. Kind of take one down here a little bit. And then do one up here. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start out with your little pencil and just add a little bit of paint. That's a crummy pencil sharpener, pencil eraser. Where'd my other pencil go? Excuse my chattering to myself. Well, pooey. Okay, I'm going to improvise. The bad part of kids having access to your room. Homework comes around and all your pencils disappear. I have a little piece of cork. I'm just going to use the cork. You could use a pencil or pencil eraser. Same thing. And all you're going to do is dab a little bit, and we're going to make little flowers. And just all you do is make 5 little dots next to each other. Now the eraser works better because it's not as porous as the cork is. You just go around. All right. easy is that, right? Kind of make some little pieces here and there. Another little flower. Where's my, that's not working. Let's redo this one. It looks sad and pitiful. Flowers aren't supposed to be sad and pitiful. They're supposed to be happy. Okay. I'm just going to add some more here. Now my larger flowers, this one, these we're going to actually paint. They're not hard at all. Very simple little pieces to make. Okay. Cover a little yellow flower up here a little bit. Camouflage it. Let's see. Okay. This reminds me kind of like 70s, 60s, 70s art. I think it's the color scheme that I used that makes me feel that way. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we have our little red pencil flowers. Now let's go ahead and add a little bit of regular painted flowers. Where did my brush go? And to do these ones, what you're going to do is you're just going to make, I'm using a square brush. I kind of tip it on its end and I pull out. And it's just going to make a nice little fingerprint type shape petal. My brush was too wet. Gotta clean these up. My brush was wet. Like so. Make one down here. And I think that's good. Okay, let's go ahead and dry them. Almost done, promise. Almost. Oh, and the red paint I'm using is Crimson Basic Acrylic Paint. We have 2 more things to add and we are done. How fast is that? And I'm just kind of putzing along, you guys. So I'm going to outline my little flowers so they stand out. My paint's not exactly all the way dry, but we're good. Kind of outline our little, oop, like I said, my paint's not dry. Yeah. Ooh, too much. Too much, too much. Carly was going to do the show with me tonight because it was her birthday, but she went to the river. How does that work out? She goes to the river and I'm stuck at home. That's okay. They'll have a good time. They always do. And I kind of outline the center too, you can see. Give a little center there. You want to make sure your paint's completely dry before you do these. These ones aren't, and they're kind of gumming up my pen, but for time's sake, we're going with it. Okay. You'll just be a little neater with yours, right? Right. Okay, let's make sure I have all the paint off my pen. Looky, looky. So, we have this thus far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple leaves using our writer's tape. And I showed that to you earlier. And Prima has writer's tape in different thicknesses. And I'm going to cut this open. Like so. Alright. Gotta get the tape off the tape. Put this aside for right now. Come on. There we go. And you're not going to need a very large piece. Maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. Excuse me, gosh darn it, 4 or 5 inches. Cut that off. And we're going to take our olive vine. And we're going to brush that right across the tape. Fancy schmancy stuff here. High-tech technique. Okay. And we're going to take a little bit of water, spray bottle and a little bit of water, and spread that out. Get that worked into our tape a little bit better. And then you're going to want to clean up the mess. See? So quickly, oh, you can't see it right now, but quickly just coloring a piece of tape. We're going to take our little scissors and we're just going to make little almond shaped leaves, different sizes, kind of looks like little eyeballs right out of our tape. You can see I'm not making a science out of this. It doesn't have to be too pretty. You just want something to add a little bit of texture. Okay, a couple more. Boop. Let's cut it out of here. And here we go. Boop. All right. So we have our little leaves, and we have a base color on them, but what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of contrast, so I'm going to take the chalk ink again to just one edge to kind of give it a little shadowing, kind of overlap it over the edge a little bit towards the center. I'm going to do that on all of them. Kind of gives it a little more depth. Took a little bit too much color off of the first layer, but that's okay. Kind of just play with it. Alright. And the nice part is they're tape, so they'll go straight onto our project. All right. So we're just going to lay these. If you want, you can put extra adhesive, but I don't have any. I haven't had a problem with them sticking down. So you shouldn't have to. Just kind of put them here and there around our flowers. Okay, pit pens work great for me. Yes, pit pens do work great for this type of project. I don't have any of the black ones. They slowly dwindle away in my classes, and I haven't had a chance to order more. They like to go missing, put it that way, because they do work so well. So kind of cluster some of the leaves around here. And one more. One more. Up here. Their little guy up here. Okay. Let me ask. Let me see. Where's my thing? I used a Sharpie paint pen this time. Just a regular Sharpie oil-based pen. But I usually use the Montana acrylic pen. The problem is my black, the tip on my black is worn. I need to get a new tip for it because I use it a lot. So it wouldn't have given me quite the clean edges I wanted. I'm going to take my little brown pen and kind of outline my leaves just a little bit. Nothing big. I want them to stand out a little bit more, so they don't just look like they're hanging out all by themselves on the canvas. Oop, went up on the canvas that time. Okay, there we go. All right, looky. It's coming together. All right, I use the Sharpie, if anybody's asking. Now, last piece before we finish the edges off is I'm going to add one of these metal embellishments. It's a little bit bowed over for the piece, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of knock it flat, and you could take the edge of your distressing tool and kind of tap that down in the middle a little bit. You can flatten that out, kind of pull. I want it a little flatter for my canvas, so I'm just working that out a little bit. Oh, yeah. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take our white chalk ink. We're going to go right onto the metal. You can use gesso also, but I like using the chalk ink. It dries quicker and doesn't make quite as big a mess. Okay, and then you're going to want to heat set this. You shouldn't have any problem with it rubbing off afterwards. Okay. No problem. And I'm just going to cut this in half. Okay, make sure it's kind of flattened out. Grab your adhesive again. I'm going to put one up here, kind of kitty corner to each other. And almost done. I hope you guys like this project. I know it's a little different than what we kind of usually do, but that's the point, right? It's to get you guys thinking. Hold that down a little bit. Yes, the white stays on would work great for this. Okay. Now the cool part about the chalk ink, it gives it kind of a, I don't know how to explain it. You know the white tin or ceiling tiles, the antique ones? It kind of gives it that rough, flat, worn look almost. It kind of gives it a really vintagey, antique look. I really like how it turns out. Alright. So, this is the majority of the canvas. We're a couple minutes over, but I want to show you guys. When you're doing artwork pieces or mixed media pieces, you always want to finish the edge of your canvas. Okay? For the most part, when you're doing a canvas, unless you want to wrap your design all the way around, to finish off a canvas, you use black. And I just use flat black gesso. And what I do is I take it all the way across the edge. We don't have time to do that, but you just paint all the way around the edges. And to carry that over on this project, what I did was I took a little bit of the, where did it go? The Faber-Castell Gelato in black. I ran it right along the edge of my project to kind of tone this down just a little bit. That, and I didn't want to have to worry about not getting black gesso over onto my project. So I'm doing it now this way. I just rub it right along the edge. You don't need a lot. This also helps the flowers kind of pop out more because you're adding a darker hue and kind of frames them out a little bit. Be careful on the metal pieces because you may catch yourself on these. Right around the edge. I love gelatos. They're awesome. Okay. There you go. Carrie. Oh, you're back on again. Oh, gosh. Okay, there you go. Here is your canvas. And again, I would paint the edges black. I would just use a regular black gesso. It's cheaper than using your acrylic paint. And to finish off your edges. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed creating it for you all. Can you see me? My canvas pieces. I was going to show you other pieces. They're out in the living room. I forgot. I didn't bring them in with me. But I hope that I gave you guys a different idea on how to use your other Prima products. What? Oh, that's Carrie's again. She's texting me all the time. I also have some dates to give you guys. I wanted to wait till the end. Hopefully we have everybody on. And a few announcements. Of course, Prima Art Venture in Anaheim in January. I hope you guys can come. And I'm going to be one of the educators. Hello! We have a great lineup of educators. And Carrie can post the link onto the site. Okay. Thank you. You guys are great. So we have the Prima Art Venture, and that is you can find all of the information on the Prima's Facebook page, and we'll try to link you up there too as well, here as well. And it's right before CHA, I believe the 8th and the 9th of January. We're going to have 6 educators teaching you some amazing projects. Hopefully we'll have some of the new product there, wink wink, and you get a ton of Prima stuff. So make sure you guys look that up, and you can make payments. So it's nice that you can spread that out and have enough time to set up your travel arrangements and pay for the event itself. Also, the warehouse, Prima's opening a new warehouse next week, next Friday, June 21st and 22nd, 9 to 5. They're going to have a brand new warehouse where they're going to have it open every Friday and Saturday for sales with discounted Prima product. Some of the older stuff that you may not be able to get in stores anymore, and some of the stuff from the very beginning. You might have seen some of us use some of the older stuff in our videos that you have no clue how to get a hold of. You may find it there. So if you're in the local area of Southern California, definitely make the trip and check them out. Also, next week, next Tuesday, Sally and Josie, next Tuesday, they are going to show you brand new product line, and I'm going to let them tell you about it. It's one of the new product lines for summer CHA. It's, I mean, gorgeous. So make sure you check in next Tuesday. I thank you again for coming in tonight and watching me, and I thank you for understanding that I couldn't quite make it last week. I'm going to go ahead and take the recording off. I'm going to answer any questions you guys may have, okay?